Hello everyone, and welcome to my Arcanist PvP build guide. You know how usually people say that Arcanist only good with dot builds? Well, not really. It can be actually pretty damn good with just normal sets with flat damage. And this build is really all about that. You will have a lot of damage and penetration while being literally at armor cap, and you will also have a great sustain as well. It's actually insane, but yeah, this is how this build works. And let's just jump to the sets now. First set we are using on this build is Hrothgar's Shield. This set comes in heavy armor, which is good for this build because we want to be tanky. It gives us HP, armor and penetration lines. And on 5 piece, when you stun or immobilize your target, you deal 13% of their total resistances to them as frost damage, which ignores spell resistances, cannot be blocked, and applies shield status effect. And it's also AoE damage. I know 13% of opponent's armor doesn't sound like much, but it's actually stronger than you think. I feel like it's a really decent option, which provides good burst damage and defenses. Second set on this build is Oakfathers, and this is where all of our damage and penetration come from. And they're quite high, even though we have insane amount of armor and 5 heavy pieces. This set is honestly just insane, one of the best PvP offense sets in the game hands down, and it really helps us do some nice damage. On the backbar I'm using Vateshran Ice Staff, and I'm also using 1-piece trainee, but here we can also use 1-piece Domihaus for a nice line of mag and stam, or 1-piece magma for more sustain. And lastly, we can have a lot of HP and get to armor cap using this one simple trick, and it's Gaze of Sithis. Very slept on set on certain builds, and it works perfectly on Arcanist. It gives us 3k plus HP, 4k armor and also 1k HP recovery, which is kinda wasted, but even that might help a tiny bit, since we are not playing as a vampire, so we actually have all of that HP recovery active. There is one drawback though, your block is completely useless. But since we are using shield and a lot of crowd control, and we are also at max resistances, with Sithis and 5 heavy we don't really need to block anyway. We can just shield and heal, and that's what we are doing. So this set allows us to put more points into mag and stam, and to have a lot of defense. A really good option. Yes, it's not a damage mythic and we cannot use a monster set, but honestly it performs really well and we have our damage figured out from other sources, so I'd say we are perfectly fine. And now let's talk about the skills. I'll start with the backbar. Here we have Evolving Runement as our burst heal and little heal over time. It's a really nice heal, and we also have it here for Arcanist passive, which reduces cost of our damage shield by 10%, and increases shield strength by 10% as well. Impervious Rune Ward as our damage shield. I still think this is the better option even after nerf, because even though you get strong shield only for 1 second and then you have small shield for 5 seconds, it's still in my opinion better than other morph, where you can get a mediocre shield for 6 seconds. Next skill is Rune Guard of Still Waters. Really good skill, which gives us minor resolve, it immobilizes our enemies, and it also gives us a huge burst heal when we are being damaged under 50% HP. Then we have Scholarship for damage buffs and cracks generation, Elisas for major breach and to proc Vateshran stuff, and lastly Bubble as our defense ultimate. Now to the front bar. Here we have Magicka Morph Tentacle, it immobilizes our enemies to proc Hrothgars, we also deal 5% more damage to enemies when we hit them with this skill, and lastly this morph does 33% increased damage when you use it with 3 cracks, and it also gives you extra 2% damage done to enemy for each cracks you spend. Camo Hunter for crit and damage passives, Rune Blades as our main spammable. They are quite strong to be honest, and the cool thing about them is that they also generate cracks. So you can build 3 cracks and then consume them with Tentacle to increase its damage and also drastically increase your damage done to the enemy. Then we have Armor Buff, which also generates cracks and provides minor breach. I'm intentionally using this skill on frontbar because you get stam and mag recovery for every skill from this tree line on your bar. If you want more penetration and less recovery on your frontbar, you can slot Scholarship here instead of armor and move armor to backbar. Our next skill is Rune of the Colorless Pool. It's just insanely good CC skill, which also provides minor brittle and vulnerability. You apply Elisas, hit enemy with Tentacle, they get immobilized and hit with Hrothgars, they break free, then you hit them with Rune, they try to roll dodge, but you can't roll dodge Rune, so they are stunned again, and then just finish them off with your ultimate and Rune Blades. Insanely good combo, gets people every time. And lastly we have Tides King's Gaze as our ultimate. You can also use Dawnbreaker or Dual Wield Ultimate if you'd like. Now I want to share some gameplay tips. Use OP Arcanist combo, which I was already talking about before. It has Tentacle, Rune, Ultimate and Rune Blades. When you are in danger, first shield and then heal, because shield will give you a lot of damage mitigation for a brief moment, and in that moment you can do all of your heals that you need. Apply Rune Guard when it runs out, so you can still have that nice burst heal while under 50% HP. Also, it really helps to crowd control your enemies. Jump. It's annoying as hell for your opponents, but it's harder to hit you and will take any help with defense that we can. If you are playing with Sithis, don't block, because your block mitigation will be 0. I know it's muscle memory and all the people will still block at first, so it's okay. Just remember to not block after you already accidentally started blocking. And lastly, heal a lot. On this build you don't have good heals over time, so you need to be healing on your backbar a lot. One thing you can do to help yourself, healing wise, is you can slot Blood Craze or Healing Morph of Degeneration, which are both really nice heals over time, while also being dots. But with that you'll obviously need to swap out something else. And that's it about the tips. Overall, this build really surprised me, because we basically have all that we need and it works really well. I think so far it might be the best Arcanist build I've played since Shield and Master's Mace's nerf. So be sure to give it a try. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.